Oh, God. We have to learn how to start our podcast without saying okay.
Okay.
We are Witches, Legends, and Ghosts. Oh, my. And this is episode 7.
Yeah. Our theme is airplanes.
Airplanes,
flight.
Flying.
Aerospace.
That's our theme. It's really set in stone. It's really cemented. But
so we've already pulled a tarot and oracle. We only had one come out for each this time.
Yeah.
So we won't have as weird of coincidences
yes,
like last week.
Okay. 5 cards.
4 of them said abundance.
So.
Okay. Shall we begin?
Yes. Oh. So we're still drinking the wine from Jade's mom.
Yes, and we found the note, so I wanted to show it to you. It just said, Jade and Hunter, congrats on the podcast. Try this before your next show. Love you both, Mom/Stina. So, and this was tied around.
It was very
right
fancy.
Here. It was so cute. So I just thought I would share that and say thank you, Mom. We also have the candle. You can, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the candle that we mentioned.
Oh yes.
Last time of the one that sits over the edge. He's front and center.
He's front and center. He is doing this. He is posing.
He has
his wings spread. He's ready.
He's ready. We also have animals, but you can't see them because they are behind Hunter and off to the side. So
yes. Here, cat. Oh, dog. You can
can
see him a little bit.
Aww.
Oh, he's so cute.
He's so sleepy.
He is. He's cuddly.
Okay.
So I think I went first last time. Yeah. So it's your turn to go first.
Me. I'm so excited. This one, I love this one. Okay. So there's a lot of pictures to it. So I will be posting, or we will be posting, and then I will also be adding it to the video. Yes. So I am talking about Amelia Earhart's disappearance and conspiracy theories about what the hell happened to her.
She's like one of the biggest conspiracy theories. Yeah. Like one of the first.
One of the first.
Also, like, I'm covering the Bermuda Triangle. I feel like both of them are, like, one of the first conspiracy theories that I've ever heard of in my lifetime. So.
Me too. Especially, I feel like Amelia Earhart is such, like, I feel like it's one of those things that you can talk about without necessarily calling it conspiracy theories. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because it's, like, truly nobody has any idea as to what happened to her. So we can, like, Kyle and I can't talk about a lot of stuff.
Kyle. He's a skeptic.
Like, curses, like, the tomb of like King Tut's curse and stuff like that.
Really?
Like, oh yeah, no. He's like, well, that's just coincidence that all those people died afterwards. And I'm like, so we can't talk about that kind of stuff, but we can talk about Amelia Earhart because there's just nothing.
Yeah.
So, okay. Here is what we know.
Okay.
I'm gonna go through her, like, the attempted route of what she was trying to do.
Okay.
So, Amelia Earhart was born on July 24th, 1897.
Okay.
Yeah. She was the first female to fly solo. July 24th.
Oh. I was like, wait a second.
No, July 24th. She was the first female to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, I didn't
like herself,
know.
Like she flew.
Like
and then
her.
she also...
Was she alone? Well, yeah, fly solo, you said.
Yeah.
So that would mean...
yes. But then she also set a whole bunch of other records. Like, she was the first female passenger to cross the Atlantic by airplane as well.
Really?
Yeah. And I guess she was like 20 or something when she first rode an airplane, and she was like, from that moment, I knew that's what I wanted to do.
That is crazy that it became to be her downfall.
Interesting you say that. She has a quote about that, but I'm saving that to the very end.
No.
So this attempt that she was doing, which was like flying around the world, basically. Yes. This was when she disappeared. It was her second attempt.
Okay, so she tried to go around the world, landed safely, couldn't do it.
No. She tried to go around the world and crashed.
Oh.
But
survived.
Yes. Clear.
So she survived.
So.
Do you know how far she got?
Yes. Okay. She crashed during takeoff in Hawaii.
Okay.
So, okay. So, this was March 1937. What happened was, during the crash, the right main landing gear assembly separated and fell apart, and like part of it like punctured through the tire. And so this is what it looked like after that first attempt. So like here's where it was connected to the plane, and then here was the tire, and then this like punctured it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. That's very important for later.
Okay.
So here's the timeline for everything we know about the trip.
The first one or the second one?
The second one. The one that she actually was attempting. Because the first one
didn't
ended after that.
An attempt.
Yeah. So she wanted to go around the world and stay close to the equator, which was like a better feat than someone who had gone around the world, but like a higher altitude.
So it's less distance.
More distance. What she was doing is more
distance. What she
was
doing
was more distance.
Yes. Theirs was less distance.
Yes. Okay. So, she technically started in California and like flew to Florida. So that was like technically her start. But like she didn't announce that she was going to be doing this trip until she got to Florida. So people don't really like, it depends who you talk to. Some people count her starting in California as the beginning of her trip. Some people don't count it until Florida.
Was she attempting to go around the world without stopping?
No.
Or just okay.
No.
Okay.
Just, yeah.
Okay.
Like hopping.
She probably, after the first time it didn't work, she was like, I don't want to say that I'm doing it again and then immediately fail. So she was like, I need to make sure I can at least get through the first hump. And then I can tell people.
I didn't include all of like the different types of like the models of the planes that were used during it. But she did change up the plane based on where. So the main one she used was called like the Electra or something like that.
Okay.
Excuse me. And that was the main one that she used for the big bulk of like mostly over water kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, so her and her navigator and friend Fred Noonan left Florida on June 1st, 1937 and headed to Puerto Rico. They then headed to Venezuela. And Venezuela reported that she, like the air control and stuff, reported that she landed there on June 2nd at 10 a.m. And then they decided to head to Suriname. And they landed there on June 3rd at like midnight. And then there were delays from her taking off from Brazil. So she went from Suriname to Brazil. And then there were delays so the plane could be inspected for something. Didn't exactly say what, but it's not really a good. Anyway.
Yeah, you don't want to have to do that.
No. So then on June 7th, like midnight for some reason, once again, leaving at midnight.
So she started on the 1st, and this is like the 7th day.
Yeah.
Okay.
She left Brazil.
Okay.
To go to Senegal.
Okay.
And she radioed over 4 hours later that everything was going okay. She landed in Chad on June 11th. So after she landed in Senegal, she went to Chad.
Is this in Africa?
Yep. And then landed in Sudan in late on June 12th. Okay. So she had a late start that morning because the shock absorbers on the plane were damaged in Chad, and that's why she had stopped. So what was originally supposed to happen was like she was going to go from Chad to like a further place in Sudan, but she had to have like a middle point to stop.
Okay.
And then she left there and went to Pakistan and arrived there on June 15th. Okay. Then she arrived in India on June 17th and then Burma on June 18th.
Okay, so we're 18 days in now.
Yes. So here we go.
Here we go.
Arrived in Indonesia on June 21st for a 3-day rest while the plane was overhauled. And what this means is, like, an overhaul means that basically they just inspect the plane to make sure it's up in tip-top shape. All of the things that are supposed to be working are working, and it's whatever. So, here it is.
Okay.
July 2nd, 1937, Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan left Papua New Guinea, and their next location was 2,556 miles away. And it was called Howland Island. So that was that's where they were trying to go.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it's like, I have a map. Okay. So here is where she was going to end.
Yes.
Basically. Well, that was going to be like, she was going to go from California all the way around, skipping, go to Howland Island, and then her very next place was
she was almost done.
She was almost done.
She had one more stop.
She had one more stop, and then she was going to go back home to California. So,
of course, that's how it happened.
Yeah. So, her last known location was near Nukumanu Islands, and this was 800 miles into the flight.
Okay.
Of the 2,500-mile flight.
Okay, so she was, like, sighted there. Like, people...
She either was sighted or, like, a transmission where they were talking about, like, where her coordinates were and stuff like that. So, she did have a transmission at 8:43 a.m. I believe... It didn't say what day this was. I don't think it was July 2nd. I think it was the next day or something like that. Or she left late and it was like early that morning. But whatever. This was at 8:43 a.m.
Okay.
Quote. This is the transmission. Quote. We are on line 157337. We will repeat this message. We will repeat this on 6210 kilocycles. End quote. So the kilocycles is like the frequency as to the radio frequency as to where she is. So they said they were going to repeat it on a different one, but then it was back on the same frequency for some reason that they had just heard the message from. And this next one was logged as questionable. And it was, quote, we are running on line north and south, end quote. So people think that this indicates that they believed that Earhart and Noonan believed that they had reached the place they were trying to go. But it seemed like they were off. This says they were off by 5 nautical miles. But I think it was way further than that.
Okay. So we got a transmission saying, like, we're good. We're going to repeat this on a different channel. And they didn't repeat it on a different channel. It was the same channel. But this one, they were saying...
the north and south thing.
Yeah. Which is not, like, the proper language. Right. Is what you're saying. Okay.
Not proper language, and it was also, there was a lot of other, like, fuzziness and other weird things that were along, like, with it. So they were unsure. Okay. So, I'm going to have the map show up of, like, what her final flight was supposed to be. Yeah. And then it shows that, she was starting in California, going all the way around to Howland Island, and then she was going to take Howland Island to Hawaii, and then Hawaii to California. So she literally was... so close to being done. So here are the different theories. They're really, really interesting. I love this kind of stuff. Okay, so here we go. And currently, this is really interesting. One of the main articles that I was getting information from was a National Geographic article.
Okay.
And they are sponsoring an expedition to Nikomororo, which is an island that is 350 nautical miles away from Howland, but there's a lot of stuff that points that she could have accidentally landed there. So nothing is known about that yet. The fact that they're still searching for her is crazy.
There's sponsoring literally an expedition.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. So, theory 1. The first theory is that there was an open ocean crash that was near the destination. Mm-hmm. So this is the official U.S. position on what happened to her.
Okay, so this is like the first theory, and it's like well known. People accept this.
Yeah. Well,
most accept
the government.
Yeah.
The government accepts it.
Okay.
You'll see why. It gets really interesting. So... they think that what happened is that they ran out of fuel on the way to Howland and crashed into the ocean. And some people looked at these broken up radio transmissions that were coming from her that were logged as questionable and stuff, and paired that with knowing how much fuel, like, that specific plane would have in it. And so this guy thinks that he has narrowed down an area in the ocean that will eventually find the plane. But they've been searching in that area and no clues have shown up. Like, not a single thing. So that's that one. Theory number 2 is that she was a Nikomororo castaway. So Nikomororo is an island that was 350 nautical miles away from Howland. Mm-hmm. They think that they may have landed there when they couldn't find Howland. So... the reason they say this is because the part in the transmission where she says line 157 337 indicates that the plane was flying on a northwest to southeast navigational line that went through Howland Island. So, like, where they were taking off from, they were going at this specific line, and they would have passed through Howland. Northwest of Howland is thousands of miles of open ocean. So if they would have passed it, they would have for sure crashed. Okay. But if they had to double back because they couldn't find it and went on that same line, Nikamororo is southwest of it. So if they would have gone southwest instead of northwest, that they could have gotten there.
So people are saying that they weren't finding it and they were maybe running out of fuel, so they turned back because they knew something was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's Nikamororo.
Yes. So radio operators received... So, oh my God, this is crazy. After July 2nd, the day that she disappeared, that's the day that she left, radio operators received 121 messages from the transmission over the next 10 days. And they speculate that at least 57 could have been from Amelia Earhart's plane.
Why do they think that?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
That's
literally,
a lot.
It's a lot. So
that's a lot of calls.
It says that obviously if it was from her, then that means that wherever they landed, the plane was at least intact enough for them to be able to make these messages. Yeah. Exactly. So, yes.
So potentially Nikamororo doesn't have what they need, and so they're sending messages for people to come and bring them what they need.
It's completely uninhabited. Nikamororo.
Oh.
It's
then that makes sense.
It's the teeniest.
Then that makes
it's like a tiny little like patch of land in the middle of the ocean that they just may have happened to stumble upon because they couldn't find what they were supposed to find.
Okay.
Yeah. So, the time that she disappeared, the time that these transmissions were happening, is when the tide was low.
Okay.
And at Nikamororo, there is like this reef that becomes visible at low tide. That maybe they landed the plane on, and then high tide may have happened, taken the plane off, and either it sank or it was destroyed in the surf. They got a lot of these transmissions at night. They think the reason why, if this was her, they think that they did it at night because in the day they're in the middle of the ocean and the sun is beaming down on them, and then this is an aluminum plane, and they would literally get baked in there. So they wanted to do it at night and then not in the morning. And then they think that after the tide was like rose back up, then the plane was destroyed. Okay.
So you're saying there was no more calls after those 57 or whatever that they think is from her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So then in late 1937, so remember this happened July 1937. So in late 1937, a British party was exploring Nikamororo because, of course, they wanted to colonize it. Shocker. And someone found an overnight bivouac. Bivouac.
Oh.
A bag. An overnight area, essentially. So this guy also photographed the shoreline when they were like going there on boat. And there is an unidentified object that a lot of people speculate was Amelia Earhart's plane's landing gear, which if you remember, the landing gear got all fucked up in the first attempt. So here's the picture that he took, okay? I would like to see if you can point out the thing.
It's either that thing.
It's that.
Okay,
It's that. It's this tiny little thing that when you zoom in, literally looks like nothing.
It looks like nothing.
But people have analyzed this and made it, like, enhanced it so you can see it better. So they think it's the wheel of the landing gear. So this is like a zoomed in version.
Oh.
And this is where they tried to enhance. And this...
That's what it looks like.
...is what they think it is. So they think that that's the tire. And then that's like the little halfway thing right there. So that's what they think is in the water. So, in 1938, Nikamororo was colonized. And the colonists reported finding airplane parts. Some of which could plausibly have come from the Electra, which is Earhart's plane. In 1940, a colonial administrator found 13 bones near the remains of a campfire and remnants of 2 shoes, a man's and a woman's, and also a box that had a navigation device in it. Ready for this part?
Who else would have that
Are you ready for this part? Are you ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this.
No.
So these bones that were found.
Yes.
Shipped to Fiji. so they could be measured and analyzed. And like, basically, have you ever watched the show Bones?
No.
Okay. I love that show. They took it off of Netflix and I'm angry because I never finished it. But basically, what you learn from that show is that like the length or diameter of a bone can tell you a person's age or height or gender or build or everything. So the bones were shipped to Fiji and measured and they were lost.
I'm sorry. What do you mean they were lost?
There was a full-ass skull.
No. The skull would have told you everything. Everything.
Gone. So anyway.
Gone.
They decided to analyze the measurements that they still had of the bones. And they said that it could coincide with someone of Earhart's side and build. However, this happened right away where they were like, yup, that is the bone of a woman. And then like later, there were some other people analyzed it and was like, nope, those are bones of men. And then someone else analyzed it and was like, no, it's a woman. And then another one analyzed and said, no, it's a man. And the latest take is that it's a woman. So, in 1989, since 1989, there have been 12 expeditions to Nicaragua to look for clues. They found evidence of several campfires in like one area. This is the really interesting part to me that really, like, this is the one that I believe in the most. They found remains of birds, fish, turtles, and clams, which they believe would have been eaten. But the way that the clams were opened and the way that the fish were eaten, where they left the heads and they didn't eat them, indicate that the people who ate them would not have been Pacific Islanders that may have, like, gone to that island.
That's such a small detail that, like, really matters.
Yes, it does.
Because we don't do that in America.
No. But if you are a Pacific Islander and you, like, are... Like, I'm picturing like Moana. You know what I mean? When they're on like the little boats and then they find a new island and it's like, what do? You have the fish. And if you only think you might be getting one fish or whatever, like obviously you're going to eat everything you can.
Everything.
So, that was really interesting. And then they found a 1930s era glass bottle, or they found a couple of them. And they think one of them contained freckle cream, which was a well-known thing that Amelia Earhart used because she had a whole bunch of freckles.
What does freckle cream do?
I think it brings out your freckles.
Okay.
I think.
I'm like, is she...
Yeah.
Or like, this is a disorder, we need cream to...
It's like acne. Bye! No. I think it was to bring them out more.
Okay.
Okay, so then what I was talking about was 2015 is when other researchers were like, the bones are men's. But then, in 2018, yet another analysis was done. And this was done by using the inseam length and waist circumference of a pair of Amelia's pants that she had.
Okay.
And then compared that to the size of the measurements of the bones that they found. And they said that they actually do match that of a woman of Amelia's stature. Yes, exactly. And her descent too. Like they can tell based on the way that bones are grown if it's like Caucasian descent or something like that. So they could determine that as well. Like she was of like European descent, essentially. So... there's that theory.
That's insane.
Yeah. This last theory is the one that I knew about before and thought, and this is the one that I believed in until I redid this. So.
Tell me.
Okay. The Marshall Islands.
The Marshall Islands.
They are they at the time, I don't know about now, Japanese controlled islands.
Okay.
They think that maybe they accidentally went there and were like shot down.
I think I did hear about this. Or like taken as criminals.
Or taken as hostage because I thought maybe they were spies.
Yeah.
Yes. So, some people believe that they were eventually killed there because I believe I didn't. Okay, here's the thing. I'm taking a lot of stuff from things that I remember like listening to from another video or whatever. So, one of the things I didn't read when I was doing this, but that I do remember hearing is that they found like the grave sites of like two people with bones that could have fit both of them. And then they think that could have happened or that they did end up returning to America, but like under witness protection under different names. So people were convinced that there was this one lady.
Why would they do that though? I
don't know.
Why would they?
I don't know.
What did they do on this flight, guys?
But people believe that there's one, it was like Irma or something, Burma. I don't remember. No, it wasn't that. It was something, whatever. But she lived in New Jersey, and people thought that, like, she just went underneath that name, but that name already existed, that woman already existed, and she sued them because she was like, hello, I literally exist. What are you doing? So, someone who looked into the Marshall Islands conspiracy theory, his name is Dick Spink.
Dick Spink.
Such an unfortunate name.
It is. Poor Dick.
Oh, anyway. He went to the Marshall Islands to be able to talk to the people that lived there and get, like, their perspective, essentially. Oh.
Yep. My dog's up. Anyways, the Marshall Islands?
The Marshall Islands. So, he got very consistent stories from people that lived there that he doesn't, because they're so consistent with each other, he doesn't think they can just be, like, dismissed.
Yeah.
So this is like a quote from some of the people, like, she landed at Millie, which is a tiny, like, atoll, which is what it's called, an atoll.
Atoll?
Atoll. Atoll. And, okay, so quote, our uncles and aunts, our parents, our grandparents know she landed here, end quote. And then they also think they may have found a possible photograph of her on the Marshall Islands.
What?
Yeah. So there's this photograph that's from the Marshall Islands, and they see this person, they're like, okay, wait, she's white. She's white.
She's very glaringly white. Dude.
And they think...
What other white person would be there?
I don't know.
Other than by accident.
Right. So there was another thing, too, that I remember...
Can I look again?
Absolutely. There was another thing I remember hearing one time, but I didn't see this in there, so I wonder if maybe this part just, like, wasn't confirmed or whatever, but I remember hearing a thing about how, like, in the Marshall Islands, they have, like, or they had, like, stamps at one point that they used that had an airplane crashing and that had, like, someone that resembled her on the stamps.
Oh my gosh. So this is like they took this crash, and it's like... It's like the UFO thing in Roswell.
Yes,
like,
yes.
This is part of our culture.
Exactly, yeah. So, okay, here's the map of where they left. So Papua New Guinea is where they left, and they were trying to head here.
Yes.
So here underneath is Nicomaroro. Jesus. And then over here is the Marshall Islands. Oh, okay. And that's the Millie Atoll specific. So the Marshall Islands is Millie Atoll is like one of the specific ones. So that is the I will show it and we'll also post it so you can actually see and like understand the area. And then up here is Hawaii. So she was going to go here to here and here to there and then there to California.
Hawaii is so close.
It was so close. Yeah. So, okay, theory number 4.
Both of them are pretty plausible. Like, both islands. The fact that they didn't land there, maybe they didn't crash, because we can't find anything about a crash.
Right.
But, like, they crash-landed in either one of these islands.
Yeah.
But the fact that this whole town is, like, guys...
But it could have been someone else. It didn't necessarily have to be Amelia Earhart.
I know, but wouldn't they know? Wouldn't they be like, yeah, doesn't Amelia Earhart have, like, red hair? What are the chances of another female...
Curly red hair. Yeah, that's fair.
Red hair
but
crash.
To be fair, at the time, 1937, there was a lot of, like, not good things between the U.S. and Japan. So maybe it was like... So that actually goes into this next one. So the 4th theory is that she was actually a spy for the U.S.
You think?
And that... No, I don't. People do.
Shut down so hard.
No, I don't. But this is what... People think that Howland Island is actually not where they wanted to go when it actually was the Marshall Islands, and that they were supposed to go there to be able to see what was going on at different, like, Japanese installations to be able to report back to the U.S., and that they were either shot down or forced to land and then eventually, like, executed.
There's no way. Because the U.S. wouldn't... Like, she was a big deal at this time. There's no way they would be advertising, hey, we're going to be flying right next to this Japanese island that maybe want to take control. There's no.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I know.
They wouldn't do that. They'd do it all secretive, like, and they wouldn't have a woman do it. Like, why would they have a woman do it when they have males that are experienced?
Exactly.
Like,
especially, it is a little weird, though, that the U.S. is so adamant about like, oh, no, she crashed in the ocean. Nothing else happened.
That is
It was
strange.
for sure the ocean, and
strange.
even though we haven't found anything, it was the ocean. And the thing
even
is...
though there's proof for maybe other theories.
Yeah,
like,
and the thing is, to me, it's like, the people who think that they just ran out of fuel. She had been flying for for like a month at that point. Mm-hmm. She knew how much fuel her plane could take and how far that could take her. There's no way that they just happened to not. Anyway. Crash. So, of course, fifth theory, I'm sure you can guess. Aliens. Always a theory.
It's always a theory.
It was there. I just thought I'd mention it. I don't believe it, obviously. Yeah. But apparently in this place of the South Pacific where she disappeared, it was like a hotbed for alien activity. So this is what they think they did to her. They think
they think there's more than just aliens took her. It's like there's theories.
Oh, they think they took her to another planet, cryogenically froze her, and then defrosted her in order to examine her so she could found an off-world civilization of alien aviators.
Okay, and what I'm covering...
Exactly, for real. No, it goes really well with it. I do remember when I was younger, for some reason, thinking that the Bermuda Triangle had something to do with Amelia Earhart's disappearance. But they're literally nowhere near each other.
Nope.
So they were legally declared dead on January 5th, 1939, like a year and a half after their disappearance. And here's a quote from her great-nephew, which I thought was really cute. Oh. He said, "Amelia's life was much more interesting than her disappearance." And then he was saying that he wished that people took all of the money they used in these expeditions and used them for, like, something else instead. Yeah, and then here's a quote for her right before she did this. Okay?
She's like, "I'm going to crash."
Quote, "Please know I am quite aware of the hazards. I want to do it because I want to do it. Women must try to do things as men have tried. When they fail, their failure must be but a challenge to others." Unquote.
She's definitely not a spy, guys.
I know.
A spy's not going to say that.
I know. So,
oh my god.
That is Amelia Earhart.
Wow. I didn't know any of that, honestly.
I'm really curious as to what your guys' opinion and like theory is, because I think I know the Marshall Island is very, very plausible.
Oh yeah.
But I really, really, really think the Nicomaroro one is way, way more because of like the pish and the clams they found and the shoes and the bottles that could have represented something that she used and the possible airplane stuff that could have matched her plane and the picture of the thing of the wheel. Like when I first saw it, I was like, "What?" But then as I like compared it to the rest of the pictures that were in that, I was like, "Oh my god, I can see it now." Yep. So that is what's yours? What do you think?
I don't know. I want to believe the Marshall Islands one just because who else is that then? I mean, that could have been a male. Like,
it could have.
That the back.
It absolutely could have.
I don't know whether to say it was feminine or masculine looking. Could have been a male.
Yeah.
It is strange though that they've like made it their personality that like this.
But that's the thing is that I just remember hearing that in a video one time about the stamps. When I was doing this research, I didn't see it anywhere when it was talking about the Marshall Island theories was like these stamp things. So but I know that it was the Marshall Islands because I distinctly remember that name. So let us know what you guys think.
Dude, the fish thing is so
right. That's the most convincing piece of evidence to me.
Oh, for sure. That is the most convincing. Besides that picture. I don't know what that picture shows, though. It doesn't necessarily mean that
it could have just been a rock.
Yeah.
So that's Amelia
Earhart. Or even
the
other picture, like, that could have been just
a person.
Anywhere. Yeah. It also is strange, though, that, like, the picture's only of her. They only ever talk about a woman. So where'd the guy go?
They say that he's in that picture, but I don't see him.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They also think that you can like see her plane in that picture. You can't. No.
No. So I don't know. I'm leaning towards the Nicomaroro Island one.
Yes.
Or maybe they did just crash. Aliens. Aliens. Talking about aliens. I'm covering the. Here's my cat. I'm covering.
This is Elias. Oh, this is Elias.
Here he is. I'm covering the Bermuda Triangle.
I'm so excited for this. I feel like I don't know enough about it.
I guess thank you. My dog was laying on the cord. I guess the Bermuda Triangle was also known as the Devil's Triangle. And this is like what it looks like. So the Bermuda Triangle goes from Miami to Puerto Rico to Bermuda. Yeah, so it goes to Florida, Puerto Rico, and then Bermuda. For those of you who don't know, Bermuda is an island.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I don't think the only reason I know that Bermuda is an island before I did this is because me and my family have been looking up cruises to go on, and there's cruises that go there.
Would you go?
Yeah.
You would?
I would.
You think you would risk
Most of them go. Okay, so here's the triangle. We're going to put it up.
Yes.
Most of them go from New York to Bermuda, so it doesn't even go in the triangle. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
It goes at the top, and then the triangle connects to the bottom of Bermuda.
My mom and I talked about going to the Dominican Republic after I graduate, and now I kind of don't want to because I feel like we would be flying directly through that passageway, and I'm already scared of planes.
You for sure would. But Bermuda, I guess, side note, Bermuda is has really old buildings.
Okay.
So it's tropical mixed with European style buildings and stuff. So imagine I guess it's a little bit like Italy where there's a beaches, but it's also very old, old looking buildings with the pretty intricate castles and stuff. I know, so it would be really pretty to go on a cruise.
Yeah, it would.
As long as it doesn't go through the triangle. But
right.
So the Bermuda Triangle covers about 500,000 square miles of ocean.
Damn.
And when Christopher Columbus sailed through the area on his first voyage, he reported a great flame of fire, which people are saying is a meteor. But he was calling it a great flame of fire that crashed into the sea one night, and that a strange light appeared in the distance a few weeks after that. He also wrote about erratic compass readings. But I guess at the time, part of the Bermuda Triangle was one of the few places on Earth where true north and magnetic north lined up. So that
it really would, yes.
The compass. So he's thinking, Christopher Columbus is thinking that it's aliens or something. There's a bright light crashing into the ocean, and then there's light, red light, just
there,
just floating there. And he's like, okay, well, my compass being weird has to be whatever that was,
right.
you know? And another, really famous tragedy, if you want to call it that, another really famous...
Infamous. Right? That means, famous, but, not for a good reason, right?
Yes.
So an infamous tragedy.
An infamous tragedy, March of 1918... USS Cyclops, which was a 542-foot-long Navy cargo ship. So it was a cargo ship that had 300 men and 10,000 tons of ore, sank somewhere between Barbados and Chesapeake Bay. This was in 1918, and it was a Navy ship. For some reason, I thought it was a submarine, but it's a Navy ship.
Why do they have so much ore? That's, 10,000?
10,000 tons
of
ore.
20,000 pounds.
I don't know.
1 ton is 2,000 pounds?
Okay, well, I'll believe you. You know more about that than I do. But a SOS distress call was never sent out, even though, they were able to do that. And there was no search of the wreckage. 10,000 tons of ore vanished.
You would think they would for sure go search for it just so they wouldn't lose out on money.
10,000 tons.
Do you know what kind of ore? Did it say? Iron ore? Gold ore?
Manganese.
Oh.
I don't know that. I don't know.
I'm going to look up
how much
the ore that would be.
Yes. But yeah, the fact that 300 people just vanished without a trace. Literally 300
And no bodies were ever found?
It's a 542-foot long, is that right? 542-foot-long ship. How does that go missing? No bodies were found. Nothing. And, so that happened in 1918. In 1941, 2 of, the sister ships were taking the same route, and both of them vanished without a trace, too. All 3 of them.
I don't like that.
All 3 of them.
Just like all 3 of the Titanic sister boats.
Yep.
All crashed or sank or something.
Where did they go?
You know they're making another Titanic?
Yeah, I know. I'd go on it.
I would not.
I
would
want
not.
to see a
Bad
ship
juju.
that beautiful.
Bad juju.
I'd go on it.
Nope.
I've been on 2 cruise ships, and so I'm like,
I don't like I don't like.
They're fun. I like them.
I don't think I could do a cruise ship if my room was below water.
Interior? Oh, no. I can't do that either.
I would.
Every time we get, like, as high, I'm like, as high as we can get, yes. That's what we need.
Good, okay.
But still, love them. Anyways, obviously there's a pattern of vessels disappearing or being found abandoned. I talked to you a little bit about this.
Yeah, you did.
So they were finding ships
with no one in it.
Not wrecked ships. They were finding ships floating in this area with not a single person in them. How? Where are they going? Like, you might be like, oh, they're escaping from something. What are they escaping from? What are there pirates? Like, where?
Like, and if there were pirates, you would think you would. Yeah, there are.
Yeah, but not like.
But you would think that if there were, they would have like looted the ship. Like, if they took all of the people hostage, which they definitely wouldn't have.
Fully abandoned.
So I found something.
Okay. 10,000 tons of manganese ore is only worth $1,200.
Okay, no wonder why they didn't go looking for it.
No wonder why they didn't go looking for it. They're like,
it's going to be more expensive to...
For sure.
Yeah, this is going to not be comfortable for you.
That makes a lot of sense. But still, where did it go? 10,000? Oh my gosh, that's so much stuff. 300 people.
300 people.
300 people.
That's the crazy thing. Just not even like...
It's gone.
No bodies, like just...
No wreckage, nothing. You cannot lose 300 people. I'm sorry. I don't care. The ocean's big, right? You cannot lose a 542-foot-long ship, 10,000 tons of ore, and 300 people.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
No.
So either they're covering something up. Somebody's covering something up, or Bermuda Triangle.
Or, yes.
So then in December of 1945, 5 Navy bombers carrying 14 men took off from Florida in order to practice bombing runs. But their compass, the main guy, the leader of the mission's compass was malfunctioning. This is known as Flight 19. And he got lost. Although the planes just kind of flew aimlessly because they didn't have their leader, I guess he was like sort of directing. So they were just like flying around until they ran low on fuel and crashed into sea. They didn't find them. That same day, a rescue plane and a 13-man crew also went missing trying to find them. And they did like massive week-long searches and didn't find anything. They didn't find the rescue plane. They didn't find all like 5 of these planes, like just gone. A Navy reporter, the official Navy report declared that it was, quote, as if they had flown to Mars, end quote. Just literally gone.
So, okay, here's the thing.
Yep. My dog.
Hi, dog. I knew about the Bermuda Triangle before this. Obviously, everyone knows about it.
Yeah.
But, like, part of me, before you covered this, was thinking... Sir? Part of me was thinking that, like, maybe it's exaggerated. And maybe it wasn't as whatever. But that is...
I just don't know.
How do you explain it?
The really big ship, this one and the rescue missions went missing. And then the one, like, Cyclone went missing. Years later, 2 of its sister ships went on the same thing and also went missing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I just don't understand. Another, like, quick one. 3 passenger planes went down despite having just sent an all's well message, and they also weren't found. So they're like, no, we're good, except for we're not, and they're missing. Dude. So, like, they didn't even see anything wrong. Because it's not just like, oh, the other ones, like, oh, yeah, they crashed. But, like, these people genuinely were like, no, we're good.
And then
everything checks out. All 3 of them were good. And then all 3 of them missing. Okay, so, theories. Well, before I get into theories, I want to say that an author named Vincent Gaddis is the person who coined the phrase Bermuda Triangle.
Okay.
In a 1964 magazine article. So, like, that's where the name came from.
Huh. Interesting.
Because people were also calling it, like, Devil Triangle or Devil's Path or something.
Oh.
They're calling it Devil's Triangle. So, I don't know where that one came from. I'm assuming that was just, like, civilians, like, people themselves. Yeah. That. But Vincent Gaddis is the one who coined the term. And that's my dog. So, theories. One of the theories is methane gas is why there were all these crashes. So I guess a sizable amount of methane gas exists in some spots of the ocean floor. And then if the gas was released into air, some experts believe that it could sink ships and even cause planes to crash. And that it can potentially happen rapidly in just mere seconds, which wouldn't allow people to call for help or abandon ship. Even though there were some ships that literally were abandoned.
Yeah, but if that happened...
I don't know.
You would still be able to find the wreckage.
Yeah, true. That's true. Yeah. The next idea is a wormhole, which is a space-time shortcut.
I've heard of this one.
That could, in theory, even potentially allow time travel. Although they haven't been proven to exist yet, people still believe, like, you know, they're like another conspiracy within themselves. So it's like a conspiracy as a reason for another conspiracy.
Well, I feel like the wormhole conspiracy isn't fully a conspiracy because I feel like physicists, like, work on trying to show that that's a real thing. Like, they believe that, like, a black hole could be a wormhole. Yeah,
that's true.
So, that's not necessarily a conspiracy. It just hasn't been proven. It's just a theory. Yeah.
It's not, like, proven. There's some proof sprinkles.
Yeah.
But it's not
some sprinkles.
It's not a proof Sunday. Okay.
I like it.
The next theory is water sprouts, which I've never heard of this. But I guess they're like a tornado in the ocean. So the water gets sucked from the ocean.
Oh.
Hundreds of thousands of feet into the air. It's like a tornado of water just in the ocean.
What?
And this is like happens. Like, it's not just like this is a theory. Like, this actually happens.
What?
But it's a theory for Bermuda. Like, disappearances and stuff. So in addition to that, part of the Gulf Stream moves along the edge of the triangle, which can lead to high waves, which people say can capsize boats. And they hit with no warning at all and can be hundreds of feet high. But,
once again,
planes, first of all, I feel like
that too,
planes are flying more than hundreds of feet over an ocean, right?
Yeah, they fly like tens of thousands of feet.
And also, again, they're not... How can things disappear? How can people abandon ship and never be found? Like, it just...
Well, that's my thing. Is like, if you can't even find, like, a semblance of wreckage anywhere.
Right. Which is why I feel like wormhole,
where the hell did it go?
Maybe. Wormhole is like an explanation.
I like that one.
Like, they're sucked literally.
They're just gone. They're in another dimension.
And it would also explain why some people have been missing, but their ships are still there. It's just like the people are sucked out.
Yeah.
But... yeah, people say that maybe water
maybe it's
sprouts.
Kraken.
And he ate the ships?
Yeah.
All 10,000 tons of ore. So that's a theory. And people are, they're just like, well, even if it's not water sprouts, there are a lot of weather scenarios that could make for disaster. Whatever. We already talked about how that's...
Yes, but why in that one specific location is there more than others? Like, that's the thing to me.
Yeah. And, again, they're just gone, dude.
I get the one... Okay, so the one theory about the... Well, I guess... I don't know if you... The thing about the compasses not working... Do they still not work? Like modern day compasses, do they still get messed up in that area?
That's a good question.
Because if that's the case, that could account for maybe people got turned around, they kept flying, they ran out of fuel. It doesn't account for where they went. where the plane, like where the crash site is.
True.
But it could account for
crashing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people also say that electromagnetic holes in the electromagnetic field mess up the compasses.
Well, yeah.
But I also know that like the whole true north thing it's not always in line with actual north. So like people could be looking at the wrong thing and crash, whatever. But like you said, it doesn't mean that they disappear without a trace.
There is evidence for that the poles switch.
Yes. Yeah.
So eventually, we're like due for a switch. Eventually, when that happens, when people use real compasses, we don't use real compasses, so we would be fine. But if people do, north would actually point to south, and you would have to do everything like backwards.
Yeah. So that
people think that's what the trumpet sounds are.
Oh yeah.
Or the magnetic field getting ready to change.
Yeah.
Anyways, Bermuda Triangle.
People also say that human error.
Of course.
So then the next theory is aliens.
Of course.
We can't talk about the Bermuda Triangle without aliens,
Obviously.
So there's been like some sightings. I guess, do you remember when the U.S. Army came out with like video footage of them being like, whoa, what's that super fast thing?
The Tic Tac one, yeah.
What?
Tic Tac. It was the Tic Tac UFO. Is what they called it.
Oh.
Because it looked like a Tic Tac.
Oh. Well, okay, this is where I'm confused. Because those pictures or that footage, some articles say that it was over the Bermuda Triangle. Some people say it wasn't. Because, like, it was the Navy that was, like, taking footage of this. So, obviously, Navy water. So, it could have been over the Bermuda Triangle. Some articles don't specify that it was, and some do.
Interesting. Okay.
But if that's the case, people are like, oh, aliens, that's why they disappear. They're getting sucked up and taken to, I don't know, Mars or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, those are the theories. I feel like wormhole makes the most sense.
I do like wormhole.
Either wormhole or
the magnetic field thing.
Or the Kraken.
See, I'm going to propose my own theory right now.
The Kraken.
It's the Kraken.
It's the Kraken.
He's taking them all and eating everything.
Chomp chomp.
That's it.
Confirmed.
Bermuda
Triangle is the Kraken.
We should cover the Kraken, though.
We should cover the Kraken.
Because I don't know enough about it.
No, not at all. I don't know anything, actually. I just know that he is in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
He's the star of the show.
Star of the show.
But that's the Bermuda Triangle. Those are the theories.
That's really interesting.
Dude, I can't get over the 542-foot long Navy cargo ship with over 300 men and 10,000 tons of ore just disappearing.
And what's so funny is when I was younger, I felt like the Bermuda Triangle was going to be a way bigger deal in my life than it is. Just like quicksand. Like I thought I was going to have to deal with quicksand in the Bermuda Triangle on like a daily basis. And I was terrified.
I know. I'm like, okay, well, it could be my demise one day.
Yeah.
Will I die from a car accident or quicksand?
Quicksand, or am I gonna just drop into quicksand?
Both are likely.
Yeah.
From all the
quicksand that we come in contact with.
All the quicksand that we do come in contact with. Yes.
Okay,
so cards. Who went first last time? You did. It's my turn.
Yes.
Step back. Okay. So, the otter and cattails mean peace. The otter glides through the water with grace and fluidity. Ooh. A beautiful sight to behold. The otter's playful swim brings calm and joy to those who witness it. The cattail is a symbol of peace and prosperity. It can be used for a variety of domestic purposes, from basket weaving and bedding to home installation. It is also a nourishing food, I guess. So in reverse, as you navigate a difficult time, remember that your discomfort is temporary. Limit your struggle by going with the flow. Turn onto your back from time to time, letting the current take you forward. That is honestly the cutest thing that I've ever. Also,
otters hold hands when they sleep, so.
They do. They do. They're so cute.
Oh my god, they're so cute.
I also like social work. So, social work. Part of like a certain type of therapy is called DBT. And it's mostly used for like teenagers who have trouble regulating their emotions. Mm-hmm. A big part of that is like a technique is called like riding the wave. So like riding the wave of emotion and knowing that like it is temporary. So I like that this says like as you navigate a difficult time, remember that your discomfort is temporary. Limit your struggle by going with the flow. Just kind of like feeling what you're feeling and then taking a deep breath and adjusting afterwards.
Yeah, I really, really like that.
So the questions are, do I allow myself to enjoy peace when it finds me? Am I struggling needlessly against a strong current?
That's really cute.
Basically, take a deep breath and feel what you want to feel.
Yes. So I pulled the King of Wands that has 2 lions in the upper corner and then a little lizard. So the Suit of Wands mirror your consciousness and gives insight into the core of what you are, both internal and external. They urge you to take action in situations that arise in your life. And the element it represents is fire, which corresponds to Aries, Leo, which is represented by the lions, and then Sagittarius. And the direction is south.
Oh.
So for King of Wands, it was upright. The keywords for this is influence, respect, leader, and maturity. Which I feel like at least the maturity part kind of goes with that one of like being able to be mature enough to take a hold of your emotions and just kind of like go with the flow. Because that's definitely something that you get as you get older. Because definitely as a teenager, you can't.
Yeah. No. Your emotions are so big
high strung.
and that you don't know how to like control them.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't need to control them.
Yeah. You just gotta ride the wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yay.
So
thanks for listening to this episode of Witches and Legends and Ghosts. Oh my. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, Reddit, YouTube.
I always forget about YouTube.
WLG.podcast. What is... If you want to send us potential ideas or your own stories or something along those lines, you can send it to us at wlg.podcast@gmail.com.
Or the Reddit.
Or literally anywhere.
Message us on Tumblr.
Yeah, you can just reach out. Once again, the pictures from this one, because I feel like there'll be a lot, especially for the Amelia Earhart stuff.
Yes.
Those will be up on Instagram if you aren't watching on YouTube.
If you are watching on YouTube, it should be on the video.
Yes, I'm slowly but surely figuring out how to add stuff in.
We are really working this through, guys.
Okay, well, thanks for hanging out. And I hope you hear you next time.
Yeah, we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Falls over, guys.